Good afternoon and welcome. I am Reverend Cindy Grimes, and I am so glad that you're joining us, whatever time it is, whether you're with us live this afternoon or you're watching at some other time. Thank you for joining us in this conversation. If it is your first time with us, as I said, I am Reverend Cindy Grimes, and I am with the Center for Spiritual Living located in Ocala, Florida. And I am just one, or our center is just one of over 400 centers that are located all throughout the United States and the rest of the world. And we have a beautiful mission and vision, and I'm going to share that with you all because you can tell a lot about an organization by their mission and vision and what they value. So first, these are our values at Center for Spiritual Living Ocala. First thing on our list is spiritual growth and practice. It's the whole reason that we come together. We believe that we come from love, and that is the truth of our being. We're in, around, and through us is really love. And in this human life, we sometimes forget that. We value appreciation. What we appreciate, we know grows in our awareness and understanding. We value community. This online community, we value our in-person community. We value community and the synergy that can come from people working together for a certain cause, and that cause being all of our spiritual growth. We value freedom. That's freedom of expression. Freedom's going to be a big part of our conversation in the next month of July. We value creativity and just value the many different ways that we can get this message out of love and revolutionary love, which is what we're talking about specifically this year. We value health and wholeness. That's physical health, emotional health, spiritual health. We value generosity, and we value financial well-being. And our mission at Center for Spiritual Living Ocala is to provide spiritual tools for personal and global transformation. That means we're here to help people live their best lives individually and for us to live it collectively. And our purpose is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. Notice the word awaken. That means that we believe that spiritual magnificence already lies within us, and we fall asleep to it, or we forget that it's there. And our purpose at Centers for Spiritual Living is to remind people of that. And our vision then is a world that works for everyone. That means it works for me, it works for you, it works for your loved ones, it works for people you and I will never meet. In fact, we may never meet in person. But our vision is that the world works for all of us. And so that's what our conversations are about. And today we are specifically continuing a conversation that we've been having here that is based on the work of Valarie and her book, See No Stranger, which produced a curriculum called the Revolutionary Love Project. And the deeper I get into this study, the clearer and clearer it is for me of what this work really is, and what does it mean to be an agent or one who loves in this way that is, it's revolutionary. It's the deepest part of who we are, and at the same time, it's the most foreign to us almost. It's the kind of love that has been talked about by all of the great masters, right? By Jesus and the Buddha and Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela create this vision of a world where there is love and freedom of expression. And so we're talking about how we create that in very real and practical ways in our day-to-day life. So we have talked about love as wonder, right? As the starting point, right? You may not feel like you love everybody, but maybe you can just wonder about them and question, what if that person was my uncle? What if that person was my dad or my sister or my mother or my child? How would I want them to be treated? And then we talked about grieving as an act of love for others, and how important it is to create the space both for ourselves and for others to grieve, and how important that is for expressing love. Then we talked about anger, as being a part of love, and what that anger points to as being important to us. And this month we've been talking about rage, which some people may feel surprised about, to see in a spiritual conversation, that how can rage be an act of a spiritual practice. And so we've been talking about that, and today we're going to wrap up that conversation. And I have two dear friends that will be continuing this talk with me today. And I'm going to bring in our practitioner at CSL Ocala, that is Donna Davis. Hello, Donna.
Hi.
Huh? And I guess everyone can see from your background, you're not in your usual location.
I'm not. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
I just love.
Hapeville is the name of the little
What's that?
town. Hapeville. It's called Hapeville. It's right outside of Atlanta. Yeah. I guess
Fabulous.
it's part of it, but not quite. I don't
Yeah,
know.
like a suburb.
Yeah, it's really super cute though. It's a very nice town.
Yes, staying with friends. Yes.
Yes, with John and Kathy Stringer. So that's really
Yes.
fun. Yeah,
Yes. New Thought musicians and all around fabulous people
all around fabulous people.
who have actually been at our center and played. And
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
I'm actually there at Irie House, and today I'm at their house.
how fabulous. I love that our technology allows us to, to connect this way, to continue to connect this way. Right. So
Yeah.
we've got you in Atlanta today. I'm in Ocala. Mary Ellen, who's going to join us in a little bit, is up in Ontario. And it's just wonderful that we can, that our community has grown in this way. And,
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
So I'm going to let you pray us in.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Let us just drop into that passion that is a part of who we are as we talk about rage today. Because the rage is coming from passion. When you're passionate about something, that's what bubbles up inside of you and makes it feel as if you're going to explode with this passion. And so that's what we're going to tap in with today's treatment. So I invite you to just get centered in your seat. I have extra people, extra energy joining me with the dog barking, the cars going by, the birds are singing, the air is blowing, and I am breathing. And we can always drop into that space of oneness no matter what is happening around us. So I recognize the allness that is the one that shows up as trees and as dogs and as people and as air, the one that shows up as mountains and valleys and stars and planets. God is everywhere present. Divine energy is everywhere. And because it's everywhere, I know it's where I sit right now. And I know that because it's true for me, it's true for everyone else. We're all a part of that, which is the vastness of the universe. We're all a part of it. And as I sit in this space, knowing that who I am is divine creation, who you are is divine creation, then every part of me is divine. That includes my passion. That includes that which is around me. That includes the people that I interact with. That includes every single thing that's out there. And as we watch the story unfold, the story of humanity unfolding, we know that there is divine right order in all of it. And we are learning and we're connecting and we're upward climbing, and humanity is getting better and better. And those of us who are bringing the light and learning, it's getting better and better. Even through the pain, we are pushing through it and getting the lesson from it to allow us to upward climb. And as we are unfolding and remembering who we really are as spirit expressing, we know that the rage that comes from that passion, that which we see as not working for the betterment of all of us, that we can change it with our voices. When we go to a voting booth, we can change it. When we march, we can change it. When we love, we can change it. When we grieve, we can change it. When we sing from the depths of our soul because pain is there, and singing helps to balance it, and dance and drum and all that we do to combat that pain and that grief and the suffering. And we draw upon the energy of ancestral love to repair and to heal that which is painful. That passion that's inside of me, that moves me, is divine energy. And I know that if it's true for me, it's true for everybody else. And so I am grateful for myself and how I show up and how I use my tools and talents to better the world. I'm grateful for every other person that makes that decision to use their tools and talents to better the world. I'm grateful for the lives of everyone that has been sacrificed so that we may see this pain. I am grateful for the lessons that we are learning. I'm grateful for the healing that is occurring. I'm grateful for the internet. I'm grateful for phones that can lay it bare and open this up so that we may see the wound that needs to be healed, so that we may all collectively know what is happening. I'm grateful for technology, and I'm grateful for the heart and compassion of humanity, because I know that it is there. It is our nature to be compassionate, to be the light, to be the unconditional love. We just forget and make different decisions. And we come from a space of hurt and pain. And I'm grateful that it is turning and changing, and that we are healing these wounds in our energy field. We are healing this as we bring it forward today. And I know that each and every person on this call, something is igniting within them for them to get into their passion, to step forward, to say, this is me. This is how I can create a world that works for everyone, not just for me and my family, but everybody collectively. No matter what your background, no matter what your passions, no matter who you are, we're all in this together. And I'm grateful for that. And so I release it. I release it into the law, that beautiful, fertile soil that makes all things grow. And as I plant my thoughts into this law, I know that it's already done. And together we breathe and say, Amen, Ashe, and so it is.
And so it is, my dear friend. That was so beautiful. Such a great opening. I felt it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I felt it. So thank you. So many things you said I want to pick up on and in through our conversation today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let me bring in Mariella, and then I want to make that add on to that point. And so, Reverend Mariella and Cassie, you are on mute. Welcome, my dear friends.
Thank you.
I love seeing you beautiful ladies today. And thank you again, Donna, such a beautiful opening.
Yeah,
And it was really, really lovely. And you know what struck me in what you said, and wondering what somebody maybe brand new, right, who's never been affiliated with this teaching or understands where we're coming from, to hear you say in the affirmative that things are getting better all the time and that we're evolving. And as we're looking at this mess, at some of these really horrific things that are happening around us, like how we can say with integrity and with faith and belief and knowing that things are actually getting better, even though it may look like a hot mess right now.
Yeah. But you know, that's the very thing. It's like, as a nurse, I see that all the time. A surgeon goes in with the scalpel and cuts things open, and sometimes you can't even tell. On the surface, it looks like it's okay, but you know there's an infection there. And then you have to slice through it. You have to become aware of it. You have to say, okay, this is what it is. Slice through it, wash it clean for it to heal. and it heals from the ground up. It's not something we can just say, okay, let's just throw stuff on top, stuff on top, stuff. You have to get to the bottom of it. And you have to lay it bare, and you have to open it up. And it's a mess. And sometimes it stinks, and sometimes you lose limbs, and sometimes all this stuff happens, but there's no way for the healing to occur because it'll just keep happening over and over again until it takes over the whole body. So you have to get in there and look at it. And nobody wants to acknowledge it.
Right. Yeah, it's not fun. It doesn't feel good. You know, this conversation about rage, you know, I don't know. I don't, you know, I don't know who's watching, really, to tell you the truth. We go back sometimes in a week and look and say, oh my gosh, you know, we've had 300 people watching or whatever. So I don't know. And I don't know if people are listening to this and going, rage, how is that spiritual practice? You know? So I think it's an important conversation because there's lots of rage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There is lots of rage happening right now. And, you know, justified. I mean, we have reasons. There are reasons that people are upset. There are reasons that people are angry. There are reasons people are grieving.
Yes.
And we can't do the spiritual bypass thing.
No. You know, we could bury our head in the sand and say, well, my little bubble is perfect. But your little bubble exists in the bigger bubble. If the bigger bubble goes down, so does yours.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is fun. I don't know if I should say it. I'm going to say it because it came out of my mouth. But it's kind of like having a peeing section of the pool. Okay, it's, let's make that the peeing section over there. Like, you think it's not going to affect everybody, right? You know, it's like this madness, this stuff is all around us, and it affects every single one of us.
Absolutely.
Right. So again, thank you, ladies, for being here for this conversation. So I guess I'm going to read the quotes, a couple of quotes from Valarie that set this up, this conversation. Divine rage. Okay, divine rage can make people uncomfortable. It can feel disruptive, chaotic, frightening, or unpredictable. But we must remember the aim of divine rage is not vengeance, but to reorder the world. This kind of rage is precise and it's purposeful. It points us to the humanity even of those with whom we are fighting.
Yep.
There you go, right? The practice of rage as revolutionary love is neither to suppress it nor allow it to explode, but to express it in safe containers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I recognize, you know, we've been in this conversation that we've been having this month. Anger, rage, those are the things that I have the most difficulty with. Grief, you know, grief is easy peasy, right? I'm used to that. But anger and rage is a little bit different. But I realize that there are a lot of people that don't have any issue with anger and rage, right? They just let it rip. And then you're picking shrapnel out of everywhere. So what we have to do is create, as a spiritual practice, create safe containers for people to be able to express and to share and to feel that rage in ways that are not harmful to themselves and others.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted people to take away today, is how do we do that? What does that look like? So I'll start with you, Mary Ellen. Do you want to take this one on?
Yes, I do, actually. And it is interesting because I'm wearing my prayer shawl today because I needed a safe container. Not just for this discussion, but for what is going on in my own country at the moment. And to keep a handle on my own rage about it. And I mean, things are happening. We talk about, transformation and transmuting things like that. We have in the last couple of weeks about that. And so here we are at this place now about divine rage and how divine rage, and then the opposite sounds like a safe container. And then we add the word about expressing it. I mean, that's the word that has invited me into what is happening in my country. There were 751 more bodies found this week out in Saskatchewan. There's a total of 1,330 children that have been discovered in the atrocities that have happened here. And so, you know, I review my readings with Valarie, and I read a sentence that the opposite of love is indifference. It's not really rage. It is the indifference of how we separate ourselves from everyone. And I practice being part of a human family and the part of the human race. I don't like all these divisions and things, but when she talks about what you just read about, being disruptive and chaotic and frightening, this is all of those things wrapped up in my world today. And so how can I be a safe container for these raw reactions of rage that I'm listening to? Because I assigned myself to listen to their stories of the Indigenous people who have survived and who have invited us as a country and as a people to listen. And so I put my hand up and I swore that I'm an accomplice of theirs, and I am standing in this. And I'll share what I ended up coming up with out of a meditation. Like, what am I to do in this? And so I am a listener. This woman from Saskatchewan talked about, I went back and took a red brick from the building that when it was collapsing, the bricks were even red. I guess to, illustrate that they were red-skinned. I mean, my mind just continues, but my heart keeps expanding. And in that thought, I listened to her pain. And she has asked us, and she's one of many who are asking us to be listening, to hear what they are saying. And my heart opened up. I don't say it's breaking anymore. I say it's expanding. And may I listen to deeply with you. May I feel that pain. And they ask for time to be honored while they grieve. And what got to me, what struck me in her conversation of inviting us in, was that she is now reliving all of her experiences. And I know what that was like for me. And I have not, when she talks about most harmed by violence, I haven't been as harmed as my brothers and sisters, families and members of the Indigenous people. And so I am here to walk and stand and, be called. And so I committed to continue to support them, walk with them, stand with them, be an accomplice. And every morning after my gratitude practice, I stand up and I say, I am to see everyone and everything with compassion. This is how I am to live my life now. I don't have the answers. There aren't words I didn't experience this. And so I can't speak for any one of my ancestral people here. And I live on Native land. And so I am pulled into this vision by stopping and breathing each time, so I can be with each and every one. And I do this by their invitation to listen. So that's how I can be what I consider to be the container and listen to their expression from my heart and honor their request.
Yeah.
And darn it all, I wish I could just push the government and they want to have a conversation and they're just being ignored at the moment. And so I am lost for words at some of this, because you wonder why.
Yeah. Well, you know, the thing is that the proof is there, right? It's undeniable, the atrocities that have happened. So
That's
you
correct.
can't sweep it under the carpet. You can't make it anything other than the horror that it was.
Yes.
So now the work is to acknowledge that, to allow people to express their pain and their grief as they need to, and to move through it. Otherwise, it ends up like, as Donna said, you know, that cancer, that infection, that yuck, whatever it is, that eventually takes down the system, right? Takes down the body. So
Yes, and I want to
thank you.
honor them. And I think you're right. Like Donna said as well, if you ignore it, you develop something different. And they have had to hold this themselves. And now that it is, you know, out here to be witnessed and seen,
Mhm.
is, for me, is to honor them where they are and whatever they need. You know, absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you for being that safe container for people, even if they're not sitting in your presence. Maybe there's somebody that's listening to you right now that is hearing you, whose heart is feeling acknowledged because of your commitment to be that ally. So thank you. Thank you. I want to take this time to acknowledge Donna, because Donna has been my safe container. My practitioner is Donna and Norma. She's laughing because she knows that moment when I call and, hey girl, oh my gosh, you just won't believe, or whatever it is that I have to get out of my system, and know that it is a safe place that I can do that, and I'm not judged. And or if they are, they don't let it on to me, but I don't ever feel judged. I just feel loved, and like, and it's a relief. It's a relief to be able to express and to get that stuff out when you need to. So I thank you. And that's part of why you're always on these calls, Donna, because you have been that person for me.
Yeah. And you're that person for me too, Cindy. And the thing is, like, we have several of our friends that create that safe zone for us to be like, okay, I can just completely bear myself raw in front of this person. And even if they're judging me, they're not letting on. You know, they're not letting on. But it's just, when somebody has an open heart for you. So in talking about that rage, there's sometimes when you see atrocities happening, and as a nurse, I know the ER nurses go through this all the time. When you see an abused child come in, and you're the advocate for the family, you're the advocate for that baby, or, an elder person who comes in that has been raped by the very caregiver that's supposed to take care of them. And this person has dementia and cannot say, and oh no, they're just crazy. And you're like, wait a minute, something's going on here, and it just rips you open because you're like, enough. And we, as healthcare people, we can do something about it. We connect and we can report and we can do stuff. But there are those who are screaming, and it's almost as if you're screaming underwater because you're pushing all that energy out and nobody to hear it. And so that's why people like Mary Ellen is just so beautiful to say that even if I can feel it vibrationally coming, I feel that pain, I'm holding for you, I will stand for you. I will help in whatever way I can, even if it means that I'm just speaking about it out loud. Enough people are talking about this, enough people are saying, pay attention, enough people are going out. There's some that march, some people who go like we are, but bringing awareness to the pain. Hello, there's a wound. We need to open it up. We need to clean it out. Things have happened. Hello, we need to pay attention so it does not happen again. Because the
Exactly.
minute you ignore it, history can repeat itself. And so this way we have enough people now. That's why I feel like this day and age with all the cell phones that are available and everybody's recording everybody and everybody's on Snapchat and Instagram and Facebook and whatever, they're getting away with stuff that people could before. They could drop into that, whatever it is that they had to drop into that psychotic behavior. Now you have enough cameras on you that they may take pause now before doing something that actually helps. So the collective is paying attention and the collective is protecting the vulnerable ones, kids and the elderly, people who cannot fight for themselves. And we are watching and we are saying, enough, not again.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
that rage comes in, the passion that's inside of me, the fire that says, no, not our children, or no, not our elderly, or no, nobody, period. One life is too many. And with that passion is when we stand, and everybody has their way of standing. Everybody has their way of creating sacred space. You know, we do it in our home so that when somebody's coming by, if they're in pain, all we ask is that you come with an open heart and authenticity. And if you're in pain, we will hold you. And if you need to cry, then you cry. If you need to laugh, we will find something fun for you to laugh. And if you need to make a lot of noise and scream, we'll find a way for you to scream it out. But just get it out,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
know? Because what happens is when that rage is inside, it could explode on the wrong person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Someone
Yeah.
vulnerable that can't help themselves. A baby can't help that they cry, you know? An
Right.
elder that's going through dementia can't help that they're, doing their thing because this is not, they're vulnerable. And you could hurt them if you don't take care of your own stuff. You could hurt people,
Exactly.
are disabled people. You can hurt people that you don't intend to hurt. And some people intend to hurt people because
Yeah.
they're in so much pain.
Right. Because they're unconscious.
Yes.
Because they think that somehow dissipating that pain is going to make them feel better, but they create more, right? Because they're not responsible with it. They're not
Well, they
precise
do it
with
more
it.
because they're like, if I'm in pain and I have to go through it, so do you.
Yep. I
You know,
want you to feel the hurt you have caused me.
I am in pain, therefore I will create pain for somebody else. And a lot of times they're vulnerable too, so they find someone less vulnerable than them.
Yep.
That's how bullying works.
Yep.
And then it becomes this dangerous thing because nobody listened to them. They were screaming underwater and no one
Right.
listened.
So it's, creating those safe spaces, and we can do that individually,
Mhm.
but we have to choose to do that, because there's a lot of people that either are not up for it, or maybe they want to and they're just in that moment not in the space to do it, right?
Mhm.
As I said, for me personally, the grief is easier than people, in the midst of anger. Unless I know it's not about me, then that's not a thing, right? It's easier, but still there is that frightening kind of chaotic feel to it. So there's times maybe when it is mine to do, maybe there's times when it's not mine to do, but to have lots of different possibilities, right? Of people that you talk to or things that you can do. Say, I can't pick up the phone and call somebody. Maybe I can go run out in the woods and scream there, or I can journal and burn that sucker after I get all the venom out of my system. Or, there's different ways that we can do it. Those happen to be a few ways that I do it. But do y'all have anything else that you do?
I
Music,
drum.
probably.
I drum. Man, I get the biggest djembe drum I can get and crank music up, some kind of music up and just drum. And there's nothing, I don't know. It's like tribal dancing, getting back to that ancestral tribal thing. I feel like it connects to the earth and the heartbeat. And so and I don't know, there's something about feeling the way it hits your hand and the pain that's there in your hands and in your whole body, and your whole body becomes, and sometimes you can just gutturally utter sounds while you drum, and it's the best medicine, I think, to get that rage out. That and working out. We have a friend named Namaste Thug, Ruben Ham. Holy macro, man. He uses it for workout, and he helps you channel your anger and channel your rage in a positive way and really bring your body into focus. And he's amazing. So if you ever get a chance to work with this man, and he works with inner city youth and just teaching them how to channel that rage because they live in such a volatile situation. How do you channel it in a positive way? He teaches them through boxing and working out. Yeah, amazing stuff. Namaste Thug, y'all. He's amazing.
How about you, Mary Ellen? I see your prayer shawl. That was the thing
Well,
you mentioned.
yes, I certainly get called into prayer, and I pray the land. I pray the land in Arizona. I actually love to drum too, because when I'm doing that, and I like to do it outside. I have a native drum, and I go outside or in my home, and it's the heartbeat. It's my heartbeat. It's everyone's heartbeat, and it's Mother Earth's heartbeat. And I feel like I'm coming home. I'm coming to a safe place.
Yeah.
One of the things that we were talking about rage and anger and all that, but as we were doing today's talk, I thought, my God, I was even angry because I had no idea that this has happened. And I got mad at myself because it's a part of history that no one spoke about. There's that darn silence again. And so I was mad at myself. And now that I know, it's like, and then when I got to that rage piece, it's like, oh yeah, buddy, I can't stay there. I was motivated into action, and this has to stop. And it stops with me. And how can I continue to love deeper and bigger and better? And how can I be of service? How can I do? And I'm answering what they're requesting, and that's what I hope I am serving all of them. Where there's many yet to come, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
So that's what so I feel good in a way like that as part of a practice about listening and being a witness.
Yeah.
Is what I want to be for them. And honor at the highest level of what happened to them, and to honor their grief as I'm being asked to do. And I will do that.
And you know what you just said, Mary Ellen, is just so true, because in the moment you're feeling all of that turmoil and the angst and, feeling what they're feeling, because we have empathy. But the end game of it, the end game is that you release that we're not stuck in that anymore, right? So you move through it and come out to the other side, and you come out better. Have that good cry, have that rage, have whatever it is you need to have, move that energy through so you can come back to peace and come back
this
to.
This may sound like an oxymoron from today's conversation, but my words today, while I wrote and journaled a bit about today's discussion, was, I thought, oh my God, I wrote, return to wonder. I'm coming home. And I wrote, awesome. That probably sounds horrific compared to what I was just sharing. But as I am growing into this and feeling this more and exposing, or I'm hoping that this disrupts it and there's a healing that will take place around this world with this, and that they will be able to celebrate that they are seen and they are heard and they get to be healed. That's the transformation I want to see happen right here.
Yeah.
In my country.
Yeah.
For the people.
I feel that.
The truth of it all is that atrocities have occurred in the past.
Yeah.
So many things have occurred in the past, from people's pain and from their separation from the truth and the oneness. And so when it becomes uncovered and revealed, we're now saying we honor the pain.
Yes.
And learn from it all. As humanity is developing and becoming more aware of each other and becoming more aware of our oneness, we honor that we are stepping into this great way of saying, hey, all of us are one, all of us, not just this one people, not just that people. And we can't get there until we have acknowledged those who have given the ultimate sacrifice, which is their life. And I had a young lady when we were going through the COVID thing. She said, oh my God, my cousin. And she was in so much pain about it. And I said, girl, without those numbers, science doesn't step forward and make discoveries, and newness doesn't happen without the sacrifice of those people. These people are heroes. Every last one of them are heroes. Because of their sacrifice, we are now able to have a new world and a new way of being. We're now able to see that there's something else that can be birthed because of the sacrifices of these people. Every last life mattered.
So as I continue to say, Donna, that I belong to the human family. I remember going to the prisons with Cindy, and I said, I wanted to put on my application, I belong to the human family. But this is an example. I am part of this human family, and I know we have all had different experiences, but this is one of the most outrageous things.
Oh my God.
When it's bigger than I can ever think about.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing my best to do speaking every day with people that want to hear, or even if they don't want to hear, I'm sharing. Because I am going to help expose this, and I'd like all government officials in Canada to like step down and get the heck out of the way and put people in there that want to have a talk. They've been requesting to talk about reconciliation and truth and compensation. Well, put the right people there. That's what I'm up to. And if anybody's online that wants to help do that, well then, this is what we need. We need this.
And it's the macro and the micro, Mary Ellen, right?
I know.
There's the out there, and then there's like within us, the close in relationships, right? The relatives you don't speak to anymore that are on the other side of the political spectrum. The person who betrayed you, all of those things that happen in our personal lives, I don't think we have to make the big political statements, although that is your work to do. Somebody else, it may not be their thing to do, but I would submit that maybe theirs is to dive into that family drama, or to go meet with that neighbor, or whatever that situation is that's closer in, for you, and to be it, to do it. This spirituality, what we're up to here is not for pansies. It's not for people that want to sit back and like, oh, give it to,
and kumbaya all day. No.
Right. Yeah. No, this is work. This is work. And that's why I love you ladies, because we're in it. We have that.
It's uncomfortable to go to somebody
one heart at a time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I challenge myself when I see somebody different from me. I challenge myself because I want to know about them. And if it's a different view, I'm like, tell me why you feel the way you feel. Maybe I will see a valid point there and be like, I haven't thought about it this way. And just leave your mind and your heart open. And even if you don't agree with them, be like, it's okay, because in their world, it works. It might not work in my world, and that's all right. So I'm just like, how can we come to that middle ground? How can we talk about how we can get to where we can all start to see each other as each other?
Yeah.
If you peel off the skin on the outside, we're all left with the same structure on the inside. Exact same thing. Nothing's different. The only difference is when, you have a different sexual organ, or,
Right.
But I mean, it's still tissue organs. I mean,
yeah,
that's the thing. We forget that we start to get all in our head and think that this is all there is. And can you imagine what we're going to discover? Like 100 years from now, science, imagine.
Yeah.
But we have to heal. We have to uncover the wound first.
Right.
Yes.
To acknowledge it. And we need to listen to those people who are being affected most by it. And we need to pay attention and put laws in place so that it does not happen again. And like Mary Ellen is saying, the right people need to step up and stop being afraid. Step up and say, no more, not in my country, not in my world.
Yeah.
And the citizens of Canada, I respect you, and my heart goes out to every single one of you, because I know that's painful.
God knows we have our own changes here, right? We got plenty of stuff going on in this country. And you led in beautifully to what we're going to talk about next month in July. The next part of this revolutionary love process is to listen, right? It's opening ourselves up to listen to those with whom we may disagree. Those people who are our opponents, who are pushing up against us, who are stretching us.
Mm-hmm.
Right? As we learn to love them as well as ourselves.
Yes.
So I thank you. I think we're about at time. I don't know if you want to say anything as we close out. for today?
I just want to say thank you so much, Reverend Mary Ellen. You're an inspiration just by being you, and by, just the fact that you're sitting in that space of connection to the oneness on native land just really is inspiring. And if that's all there is to do, and you never said, just the fact that you're sitting and holding and acknowledging, I just really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Mm.
Well, thank you. Thank you for noticing me, Donna, as I like to say. And, when I say I don't have words, it's being so humbled to be in the presence and be in a safe, what I call a safe place for myself to be sharing. Because I don't want someone else to come and put another suit on that looks just like the person that is sitting there today. That's my real intention. Don't come wearing another suit like this. Meaning change your whole, I'll help you change your atmosphere somehow with prayers, etc. But I know and I trust and I want conscious leaders that are willing to sit and listen and talk and collaboratively exchange and come to an agreement. All these treaties and all these promises that have been broken have to stop. So, yes, I have been awakened and called, and I don't know what else to say except I am most grateful for hearing and being able to listen and to support and love. And I'm most grateful for you, Cindy, for all of it.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you, my dear, beautiful friends, for this deep and important conversation, and for who you are in my life, for giving me that safe space to rage and to grieve and whatever it is that I need to do so I can show up and be clear, right? We all need that. So thank you again. I love you, and we'll see you next week. See you.
Blessings.
All right. Enjoy Atlanta, Donna. I'm unmuting you. Hang on. Yes.
Getting hammering behind me, so I'm like, oh.
All right. Love y'all. See you soon. Wow. Ooh, another deep and moving conversation. What else can I say? I want to invite you. Things are, actually, they're probably not going to change for you as a viewer, but I just want to let you know that our reach here is going to be expanding very soon, since we have been picked up by the New Thought Media Network, and they are going to be producing our Sunday program. So, as I said, it may not look real different for you. I think they're going to give us a little more professional, maybe pizzazz or something, but get us out there in a bigger way. So we just appreciate all those of you who support our center in any way that you do, but especially financially, because there are some expenses that go along with this production, and so we appreciate everyone that gives to Center for Spiritual Living Ocala. And so I'm going to share an affirmation here, a blessing. That is, as we share our gifts and our tithes, we know that, what we give our attention to, what we appreciates, right? It grows in our awareness and in our understanding. So if it is friendship that we are seeking, if it is love that we are seeking, we need to look for that, and we need to be that, so that it expands in our awareness and our understanding. The same thing with our financial situation. If it's money that is an issue for you, then maybe that's a signal for you to give a little. And so you can give to CSL Ocala. We gladly take your tithes and donations. You can go to our website at cslocala.org/donate, or you can text to tithe, which, if you have a smartphone, you text the phone number that is scrolling along the bottom, 352-320-5110, and you put in the amount that you would like to send the Center for Spiritual Living, and it will go right from your bank account to ours once it's set up. So it's really easy. And we just appreciate everyone that gives to the center. We had a wedding here Friday night, I believe, and the center, it was a lot to get the center ready to go because we've been shut down for so long. And so there's repairs and all kinds of things that have to happen. But the place looks beautiful and the wedding was awesome. And I'm so grateful to everybody who came and worked on the cleanup effort and gave money for various repairs. And I invite you to keep it coming because we still have lots more to do. So the affirmation, and I invite you to make this yours, to think about this. It is the nature of life to give of itself. As it is the tree's nature to bear fruit and the flower's nature to bloom, it is my nature to share the gifts of my time, talent, and treasure. I participate in the divine flow of life, giving generously and receiving abundantly. I am blessed and I am a blessing. I am grateful. Now, for those of you who may not be familiar with this idea of affirmations, you're saying something that may not be, or you may not think is completely true for you. It feels like an untruth, but the way affirmations work is that it aligns our awareness and our understanding, right? So you say this enough times for yourself, you'll take it in and you will eventually start to manifest that, right? Understand that you are blessed and you are a blessing, and what a beautiful thing that is. And I just affirm that truth for everyone that's watching today. So let's see what else I want to do. See if there's any comments I need to address here with you all. Yes, our Zoom conversation. Let me pull that up here. We'll be meeting afterward on Zoom for anybody who would like to join us in continuing this conversation, or maybe having a chat with Reverend Mary Ellen. I'm not sure if Donna's going to be on today because they have some things going on. So do join us. Here is the information for joining the Zoom discussion afterward. It is in the comments section on both Facebook Live and also YouTube Live. So that's how you can get in on that conversation, and we welcome whoever is interested in joining us to join us for that continuation. And I think that's probably it. Our next live meeting will be the second Sunday. We're doing Super Second Sunday in July, which is July 11th. And so we invite you to join us in person if you're in the Ocala, Florida area. And if you're not, we'll still be online. So we invite you to join us for that. And let's see what else we've got here. All right, I think that's it. So our prayer for protection, which comes from our brothers and sisters in the Unity movement, a philosopher by the name of James Dillett Freeman. And it's simple, it's easy. I love it. I taught this to my kids when they were little. And I hope that it has gone with them through their lives. I know that it has for me. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. So I just affirm that all is well. I get teary thinking about my kids, but all is well in your world, and that you have a fabulous week. And I look forward to seeing you next weekend. Love and blessings.